What made you realize that maybe the modeling part was not for you?
Modeling is all about beauty, right? It's kind of covering problems and everything. So my dad is an electrician and my mom a model.
Can you guide us a bit through what you experienced and saw again and again in or with your patients that made you think, hey, the skincare industry is broken?
I always saw in the hospitals that we leave patients without clear explanations. We leave there to patient and talk on our terms.
What made you then take this leap of faith at one point to say, hey, I need own products. I want to create own products.
All my patients told me, really, we need this. So then I came up with this washing, my washing foam, right? There's one thing, the ingredients, the quality of ingredients, and then where they're swimming in.
Dear Liv, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast because we are so aligned with our mission to raise awareness and give the tools to educate. You have another topic, skin longevity. We're talking about wealth longevity. And I read about your motto, the knowledge principle. And you said we need to go out, we need to educate people about their skin so they can take the ownership and ensuring that their skin is healthy for a long time. Plus, what I love about you is that you're looking into a certain industry and you see the gaps and you want to fill them and erase them. And this is exactly what Her Financial Freedom is all about. So your story is actually super, super fascinating because you went from modeling to stem cell research to becoming a skincare entrepreneur. But before we dive into the business side, I want to start with a moment in your life where I think that really stood out to me when I was researching you. Your mother actually modeled for 30 years and you started modeling at a very young age too. But then you stopped. And actually it was going well. So I'm wondering, can you tell me about that decision? What made you realize that maybe the modeling path was not for you?
Well, I mean, it's modeling is all about beauty, right? It's kind of covering problems and everything. So, and for me, I'm coming from a low-income family, let's put it. So, like, my dad was an electrician and my mom a model. So, therefore, I know that there's a dead end. So, either you kind of, as a model, you make it to kind of get an entrepreneurship, which I would say in this age nobody really does, or you kind of marry rich. For me, neither or was possible, and didn't want it. Not possible. It was not an option. I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And therefore, for me, it was kind of like clearly it has a dead end, right? And for me, it was clear I always wanted to kind get into med school. I want to become a doctor from small on.
Right? You knew that already?
I knew it. If somebody's asked me what you want, it's like definitely becoming a physician. What kind of physician wasn't clear. So they didn't want to let me go into the matura. So I said, no, I want. So I cut it and then went into med school. And I was kind of working. I cleaned toilets. I did different things to kind of finance myself till I finally get a couple of stipendium or scholarships. But before getting the scholarships, and I was doing this kind of cleaning stuff, also one of my friends like, well, why are you doing this, right? Why you don't want to model again? It's like, I don't want to get into this industry again. Sorry, I don't. It was interesting. I did then small little jobs again, and it was funny because it changed my point of view, right? So in the med school, and then you see everything dark, so everything is sick. The glass is always half full, and therefore it was just about publishing. And my PhD was about tissue engineering of heart valves out of umbilical cord cells. So it was really specific, and I was literally working 365 days because I worked with cell cultures. And then suddenly I was surrounded because I did a small job with all models, and I was talking, Professor Hetzer here, and that's like, oh, sweetie, don't worry, we need now the yellow. Yellow is the kind of color of the season. So finally I found out that the same people living next to me, living in a totally different world. So literally 180 degrees. Even we're in the same room, it's totally different point of view in the same situation. So this gave me a little bit kind of to think. And seeing, okay, it's not about just makeup and covering, like model world, beauty world. So glass is always full, versus medicine where everything is, the glass is always empty, everything is dark. It's about really treating. You see people dying, you kind of, next day you're coming somewhere in and the person was dead, you talked the day before with him. So it's really the distance, so the black and white, right? And now we said like longevity. Longevity is also not, black, white is our system right now, so sick and healthy, but it's so much more. It's a 50 shades of gray in between. And this is where I found my way finally through all the research work, then back at Columbia University with the stem cell research you mentioned, genetics and everything, then back in the Charité Hospital. But then I figured out, no, it's not this kind of teaching I still love, as you mentioned, I'm still teaching, but it's much more. So therefore I cut with industry, with the medicine industry, and I went totally in a different path. I worked for a venture capital company. I also worked for sales for a kind of, for a very big company, just to kind of get all these shadows, all this kind of gray, let's say, different shades of gray to kind of get to know it all between of it. And that's what brought me then literally then where I'm right now, where I'm combining these two systems into one and to kind of fill the gap. Right?
Yeah. I love how you describe it with light. Okay, black is like the medicine. We always look at the negative effects. Then beauty, you always want to like see the positive side. I can relate a bit because I think my two passions are like finance and women, right? So I try to combine it as well. So how did you then end up in dermatology? I mean, you were researching at the German Heart Institute, right, Charité in Berlin, on stem cell research from the umbilical cord. How did you end up from there then to dermatology?
So back then was also stem cell, but it was more like really about building heart valves out of umbilical cord cells. So it was a little bit more complex. I wouldn't call it stem cells in this part, but stem cell came later. I started with dermatology by accident because I worked also in a military hospital, and one of my mentors there was really kind of showing me a lot what's possible, right? And it's like, and one of my biggest mentors, Professor Sterry, he was the head of dermatology back then, and he told me, look, what your brain doesn't know, your eyes will never see. And this I love, and this is what I give to my students. It's like in Germany, say Wissen ist Macht, so knowledge is power, right? As more you know, as more you can also, as more you see. So literally, like if you learn something and you hear this word, suddenly everybody's talking, right? This word, or you see green, suddenly the whole world is green, right? So it's the same with knowledge, and as more you know, as more you feel like, oh my God, I have no idea. And there's a mathematic curve which we call like Mount of Stupid, because there's a first point where everybody's like, oh, he's an expert. There's so many longevity experts which were there in the past. They were working with a big company, and then suddenly they became a longevity expert and becoming a supplement specialist. They never kind of know about how the details really work in the body, but they became a specialist about feeding them. So it's the same thing. It's like knowledge is something you know, you think you know everything, till you go deeper into the materia, into the mindset, and then suddenly you think, oh my God, shit, I have no clue about nothing, right?
That's so interesting. Alex Hormozi phrases it like this: you have a pyramid of knowledge, and he says, for example, if you start to become an entrepreneur, which you did, which I did, it's like you're 10 steps ahead, obviously. But it's like in the beginning, you don't even know what you don't know. And at one point, you get to the point of, now I have a slight idea of what I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But in the beginning, you really have the impression I'm the absolute hero. Until you go deeper, and then you fall deep because you see point, right? And then slowly you're gaining knowledge, and slowly you're becoming then a real expert, because then with all the knowledge, with all the different things, you're really going deeper. But even if you meet somebody in this peer group who's like, oh my God, I couldn't even be even deeper in this project. So therefore, it's a kind of a working way, right? So
So how did the dermatology then come up?
So back then the military, and then then I went. It's a good question. It was just by accident with the dermatology stuff, and then I was it was literally by accident. I actually didn't plan to become, because the idea was like, I wanted to get a heart surgeon. This is why I did the PhD there. And it became a very, very long work, which then were actually accepted as a PhD as well. So not just a doctorarbeit, right? And this was kind of interesting because suddenly a lot of told me, look, why not dermatology? Because there's so much more to go, because the idea was also grow from whisker skin cells, right? Or from whisker cells, then we differentiating into other cells, or taking the cornea cells and differentiating it back to skin cells. So this was very like 25 years ago, so very early stage of reprogramming. Dermatology was really purely an accident. I didn't plan it. So with a heart surgery, I really wanted, but talking about women, my professor, Professor Hetzer, went in the room and was like, look, it's like, yeah, I want to, you want to become a heart surgeon, well, but you're women. Okay, you want, really literally he told me this, you're women, but you want to get a family, you want to get a really poor that. But no, he was not unright, because heart surgery means you are 8-10 hours on the table, right, operating, and then literally you live in the hospital. So it is a decision. Every man or woman can choose it. But he said, you look, if you want to kind of get, you need to have balls. And this is like, this is wrong. Because I said, look, my balls are bigger and higher up, right? So don't talk about this. My balls are there. But I figured out I want to prove it. I literally just wanted to become a cardio surgeon to prove that I can. And this was not a one. I was then a short time of period also at the Baylor College in Texas. And there I met a cardiothoracic surgeon, woman. And she told me, look, I love my job, don't get me wrong, right? I love it. But leaving my kid in the morning, right, and saying, well, I have no clue when I'm coming back, and she can't even choose, right? She can't even choose getting a practice and getting her work kind of balanced, because no, it's a dedicated job, right? You really have to live for it. And this is probably, as a woman, much more complicated than a man, because yeah, if you want kids, and this is a decision, you also want to have spending time with the kids. So I don't have kids because there was never the right time, and then also not enough time for kids. So therefore, it is a decision which is for women problematic, because you have to, on one side, you have to, your career, you want to go fast. And I always tell, as a woman, you probably have to really make a crazy career quickly, because then you have the plateau where you kind of off this, and you can tell them, I'm not a mother, but I assume, and this is what I heard, and I have a lot of patients, right, women patients, and it's like, no, even you would love to, you not get promoted, right? Because if the kid is sick, it's sick, right? What should you do? The kid does not pay you, you are alone home, right? So you have the obligations, even you can handle it, but let's face it, we can't have it all. There is 100%.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time, exactly.
Maybe,
So you can, but it's a time difference. So if you want to have a career and kids, I assume you have to be very quick in career, right? Very high up. Then you have a plateau for whatever years, and then you can go up. Whereas a man is going like this, right? And you can meet him on the same part if you're like 55 or 60, but in between it's different. Yeah?
But I like that you're actually very transparent in saying, hey, actually it was a coincidence, because that's when I interview entrepreneurs, C-level, like CEOs, they often say, it was not my plan. So I love that you were open to it, to diverge. And then in 2013, I think you opened the clinic here in Zurich. And can you guide us a bit through what you experienced and saw again and again in or with your patients that made you think, hey, the skincare industry is broken?
So while I was working at the Charité Hospital in Berlin, I mean, it's again, dermatology, you see everything is sick, right? And back then I was already in the aesthetic medicine. So it was the first kind of move in aesthetics and talking about beauty. I mean, the States, if somebody says, you're a dermatologist, it's like, oh my God, great. What kind of drug was wrinkles? Back then in Europe, somebody said, you're a dermatologist. Oh my God, it's acne. It's disgusting. Oh my God, it's sick, right? So this was back then. So it was already these kind of different worlds because of time shift. Back then, US was already kind of more forward into this kind of industry looking on sick and on sicknesses. But in how it ended up, so it's a good question. I always saw in the hospitals that we leave patients without clear explanations. So we leave there to patient and talk on our terms, in our medical terms. So we do an excision, this is a biopsy, this is things. This is kind of words you don't know. So why should I talk with you in words that are from my industry? Like all the industry and finance have like this funny kind of short things. Sorry, I don't want to look stupid.
Yes.
What do you
Jargon,
mean?
abbreviations.
What is it, right?
Yeah.
So every industry has this.
Yes.
So, but the medicine, of course, you're dealing more with emotions, sicknesses. You have kind of
Fears,
you have
also in finance, by the way. Yeah.
Clear. Yeah, absolutely. So you have to find words that the other person's understanding.
Yes.
And even there, I figured out. So if my patient don't know what I'm talking, I have to explain it. So as I was doing ultrasound for like melanomas, for example, like the lymph nodes, and I said, look, what kind of tumor do you have? I don't know. It's like, how can come? Which centimeters do you have? I don't know. It's like, okay, which is Boris Becker's second wife? Okay, you know the wife names. Really? You don't even know him. So why you know all his details and you don't even know about your own body, right? About something. You live in this kind of things and you want to live as long as possible before you go out. So you have to take care about your body and you have to know about your body. And if you have no clue how to know it, you have to ask and you have to teach.
But then which questions to ask, right? That's the thing.
Ask, oh, I don't understand, tell me. But indeed, we physicians have an issue to explain and have issues in communications, right? That's it. So in dermatology, let's say then in this part where people coming into my clinic, I always talked about how to get a good skin. So not about just like sickness, or also people ask me, look, I have a lot of rednesses. You normally don't have enough time, right, to say, because you have to cure, right? There's no time for, oh, there's a little bit of redness. Oh, there is a little bit pimple. So oh, you don't have heavy acne. Don't even bother, right? This is right now the black-white industry. And this is insurance. I always say insurance pays if you're sick. And it pays, it's like the house gets burned and it gets paid for. This is wonderful. But you have to take care with the house to get painted, to get everything right. This is in your own responsibility.
That it stays healthy.
Yeah. Your house has to be kind of always maintained, right? So your health has to be maintained.
Yeah.
So, and then I said, this was a proof of concept actually in my clinic, where it's like, you bring all your products with whatever you have.
Yeah.
So you actually, all of my colleagues get put you away, but you come to me because I will help you. You're not sick, but we want to make everything that you not get sick. So you maybe don't have the heavy acne, but you may already have some pimples. You don't have the heavy rosacea, but you have already like signs. You're getting red cheeks, you're feeling uncomfortable because it's like warm, cold, and you're getting the rednesses. And you maybe don't have heavy melasma, but you have pigmentation issues. You don't have a white skin cancer, but dry, rough skin. So it's literally beforehand.
So you could start way early with the prevention.
Way earlier. So, and people, where they normally went to cosmeticians somewhere, I like the going into the shop and the talk. And the problem is skincare changed. Skincare came from 1908 from Helena Rubinstein. So it's a long time ago. I mean, she was not a physician, she was not a researcher, she was a good entrepreneur. But let's put it this way, even if she would be a good researcher, she would not have known more. But she was very smart. She saw that in early stages, people have oily skin because of the sebaceous glands. Later, because the skin is like a cobblestone, the cell turnover reduces, you get more dead skin cells on top. So I take my book quickly. So what happens, your production lowers. Right? This is the upper layer of your skin. This is what you feel, you see. This is baby skin. And then what happens, the production lowers, more dead skin cells stay on top and the barrier gets thinner. And water disappears here. So what you feel is dryness. Now, water disappears more than there. Logic. So if water disappears, she felt dry skin. So suddenly you had dry skin, you had combination skin, some patchy, and oily skin. 2025, everybody's asking you, what kind of skin do you have? Right? Oily, dry skin. And this is like, who cares, right? Because in the end, if you look at skin, and this is what I call reverse dermatology engineering, right? It's kind of, you look at bad things as a dermatologist and how you go backwards, right? So, and it's all about these cell turnovers. So I started to put them on a regime with their products because they spend money on it. Why not using? But I figured out most of 90% of the products, and people came with suitcases.
Oh my God, right? I can't imagine. Can you imagine?
And also now men starting, and they put it in a row. It's like, look, these are all the same. This is serum to cream, it's the same. And the question is about actives, for what it's for, where they're swimming in, right? Of course, the formulation, and then the right order. And this is, I put them in a level system. So I called myself a personal skin trainer because I feed my patients, right? And then with the supplements, with the food, I would say, how can come that you say, oh, if I eat wrong, I see it on my skin. It's like, do you want to see your organs? Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The skin is the dashboard of your whole system. You see it. And how you can not treat the inner organs, right? So if you start with skin and making it better, you feel suddenly, hey, okay, if I sleep well and I get it under control, my habit is changing because I see it. That's a dashboard. And I say it's the dashboard of the longevity funnel. So we're starting slowly with the level systems, and I'm going with my patients even deeper, like boot camp and testing and blood tests. And then it becomes really a kind of a training program.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Maybe let me summarize how I see it, right? So you start your clinic, you start your approach maybe a bit more holistic. You see people coming literally with suitcases or products that they spend a lot of money on. You try then to put them on a scheme to deal with it, but also looking a bit deeper, right? What's their habits? Are they sleeping enough? I see that so much. If I travel a lot, if I'm out of my rhythm, like I look older, if I eat more sugar, inflammation.
Exactly, and the travels also has a big impact on your gut system. So now it comes to the skin-gut axis as something what I find super, super important, right? And then it comes, it's what you're eating, right? Yeah, it's not 100%. What you see it, it's also your organs, but you don't see the organs.
Yes.
And
I love so much that you combine the literally longevity of everything, right? Not looking only on the outside. What made you then take this leap of faith at one point to say, hey, I need own products. I want to create own products.
I was then back there, and then I feel like, okay, people don't wash their face correctly, or sometimes just with water. It's like, are you nuts? Really? you don't wash your hands just with water. Neither only. Why are you not doing it for your face, right? So then I started to kind of create, because I did for big companies also R&D, and kind of because I had a company where I did consulting after I left University Hospital. And then I said, like, everybody asked me, well, why are you not doing your own? It's like, no. It's like, well, really, we need this. So all my patients told me, do. So then I came up with this washing, my washing foam, right? So there's one thing, the ingredients, the quality of ingredients, and then where they're swimming in. So I started with the foam. I went to kind of fairs with the from packaging. So now you can talk about foamers and kind of dispensers and different dispensers. Different world, really. You're literally entering a different world. I went to conferences about all the raw materials, different world, because they're all about in vitro. So it's like in a petri dish. So of course, the petri dish is, you see certain cells and you see producing collagen, and you say, wow, right? This is right now a big thing in the longevity part. You see it on the dish. It's like in the petri dish. Yeah, but it's like, well, and it's what's funny, which I like to talk about, is like one company, one of the biggest company, raw material companies. One of the salesperson was like, yeah, but Dr. Liv, look, this is a new ingredient, and it's from us designed, and you see the collagen production higher on this percentage. It's like, and it's a cream. I tell you, it's for breast lifting. I took it on my breast and I feel it. It's like, okay, no hand on the heart. Really, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is like a Venus, and it's like a huge distance between what you see under the microscope versus what I see as a patient on my skin. So therefore, and this is what happens with the industry, right? So they see something on the dish, but on my patients, they couldn't care less. If they're not seeing results within 4 weeks, they're out, because you can tell them a lot. There's a collagen production. If they don't feel, they don't see, there is, forget it, right? So this is a discrepancy about this. It's not wrong what they're saying, but it's also, no, as a physician, I want to have results more quick, right? And this becomes a kind of an issue. So therefore, for me, it was clear it has to be actives, which we physicians know, right? Which work well if you're using in high dose. But then you can use it in a low dose to actually do it the same way as a physician I do, by yourself, alone, home. So I started with a foam, then with a serum, and it could have it in the cream, but it doesn't matter where it's swimming in, but I wanted to have a consistency where you can use it whatever problem you have. Because in the end, this is why people calling this be disruptive, is like with my level system, which I did it with my patients in 1-1, I'm mirroring it 1-to-many now. So it comes with 1-2 products. My patients gave me feedback.
Yeah.
We tried another, it's like it was too sticky. Even now with the sunscreen, it's like, look, I don't like the tube because XYZ, it's too big. So I'm making now a smaller one and more pumpy. So the good thing is I have a 1-to-1 patient condom.
Yeah.
I can do it then in my lab or R&D to kind of switch it. And then I can even react and looking for kind of new dispenser companies or new kind of packaging, primary and secondary packaging, and adapt. This is, I think, my nice superpower.
Yeah, because you combine actually the research and treating patients and speaking and teaching.
But it is, it's a commitment, right?
Yeah.
So it's something, if you want to have, we talked about holidays, forget it, right? But back quickly to the level system. So it's about actives, it's about where they do swimming in, and the quality, of course, and the right order. So then I said, okay, it's a level system, which I do with my patients, and this I mirror. So, and then finally it was a problem because I financed everything by myself. So, and I didn't want to have investors in the beginning because I want to have the power. I want to know where I want to go. I want to say how I want to go, and I really want to keep it. Right. So for me, it took time. So one product to do the R&D to produce to get, it's a lot of money. Right. And everything I earned there, I spent there. And then I felt, I can't do it by myself. I start with YouTube, Instagram, because I said I want to educate also people how to do it. And this is way before I started my products, actually. Right?
Which shows actually that you want to leverage the knowledge that you gain and make it publicly available so we can kind of help ourselves, right? You say you're a trainer, but like you launched the products, but you first kept them in clinic.
I feel
like business-wise, right? Like explain to me. I mean, I admire that and that you want to get feedback and improve it. But what you would think is, let's make quick money, let's sell it.
Because for me, it was just like, what if somebody doesn't like that? Right? What if I kind of promise what people will not see? So I really want to get it from my patients who are as I'm very honest with them, I'm really kind of really honest.
Yes.
I would say it stays there, but I'm very honest.
German.
Very German, very Berlin, very doctor-like. And it was funny because I wanted to be in my clinic independent. So if I showed you two different things in a similar category. But of course, I mean, it was so much more work to make it in a high quality, to get the right ingredients, to not do any kind of extra stuff in. And I showed them. And the funny was they choose automatically. Even though I didn't show them my label, they choose then mine. It's like, nice. So, and then I was like, look, you found this, you go the front. And my sister's like, yeah, but what? Something else. Why are you not taking the other one? That's the sunscreen not from her. This is like, don't have any hormonal actives. Like, she also has a sunscreen. It's like, yeah, she has. So why she doesn't say it? Because I feel like totally, I can't promote myself. Are you crazy? I'm a physician. I don't want to sell, right? I want to be an independent, giving you the best I can do for you. And yeah, I designed it for you. But for me, it was a big step to overcome this, right? And even talk about this. So
that's so interesting. We just discussed before, right? That we women always think about not putting us out there, not selling, not promoting.
So for the products, it was really kind of hard to talk about it. A lot of people, even on the social media, didn't know that I have products, right? Wow. Because I feel like, no, they're probably judging me and telling they just want to sell her products. She just want to make money, this. And then I have to learn, somebody told me actually from the women community, like, look, it's a business, it's not charity. Of course, everybody wants to make money, but what's wrong with this, right? What's wrong to make money out of something if you really believe that it's great? Yeah. You create it because with your whole knowledge to make it great, to make it better, to improve it, to make it easy. So why not talk about it? And this gave me a little bit of switch, which I finally slowly then I got a little bit more self-confident.
But that's so interesting how you explain it. If I summarize a bit how I now see you phrasing it, I see you from the outside, right? You have an amazing, immense amount of followers on several social channels. We see now the tip of the iceberg, a successful entrepreneur, influencer, right?
Really, I don't even feel like this, but it's cute that you're saying it.
It's not cute, it's the reality. And still you're like holding back. And also that the development is like, I'm not putting myself out there first. It had to come in stages, because what I'm asking you is, how do you think about building, let's say you've built an ecosystem, how do you think about building different income streams? Because now everything that you do is so aligned. You teach and you publish in order to raise awareness and educate. You still work with clients. Many people would say, I don't have time for that anymore. I cannot do the one-on-one, right? So you try us to really train us with our skin. And you've built a product. So everything is tied into each other, but it didn't come overnight. It was a process of how many years? 20?
So
15?
I had the idea of everything probably like 15 years ago, and then it slowly started with the idea of I always wanted to create a product because this is what I really love, right? And then but I also love my job as a physician, as a dermatologist, and then I want to put people in the driver's seat because as a physician, I don't like that you come to me, it's like, deal with this now, make me healthy again. It's like, no, you're responsible for yourself. Right?
Wow.
Why should I take care? It's like with sunscreen. You coming with pigment, redness, like, look, how often you use sunscreen? Oh, 30 days in my holidays. Okay, and 305 days of the year, you're smashing the garbage in front of my feet and telling me, look, take away of it. It's like, I'm not doing this.
But
Why?
we want the magic pill.
Right?
Can you
There's
not
no
give me
magic.
a
Everybody
quick
wants
fix?
a magic pill. I'm working right now probably 84 hours, right? I'm working 7 days. There is no magic pills. If people see my Instagram saying, oh, it was so fun. Even my assistants once told me, like, I came from somewhere and I finished my patients and I had 40 patients. In the end, I was dead. I was like, look, I have to lie down there because I have to breathe. She's like, wow, I didn't expect this from you. It's like, yeah, because I don't have you going out of this door and you have your freedom with your friends. I don't have this. I choose it not to have, right? But it's nothing building from scratch. It's not like everybody started somewhere in a garage. We also did packaging first in our cellar, and now I have 2 kind of logistics centers, right? But it was hard work to go, and I even don't feel I'm there where I want to be because I'm just starting, right? But it's a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication, where when people ask me where I get the energy from, I honestly don't know. I feel like I have to reach a goal, which I haven't, because I'm here on this world, or everybody of us is on this world for a certain purpose. Yeah. So don't waste it, right? Do something for everybody. Do something to leave a footprint in this world, because just partying is fine and all the stuff, but what is your real value? Looking on the Instagram and seeing how other people doing certain things, why you don't do it by yourself, right? Oh, it's always green on the other side. On Instagram, I'm like, oh, there and there. But you haven't seen me in all the between. I'm running with all my stuff by myself from A to B. Now I have stuff helping me. But I'm doing that. YouTube, I did it in the evening. If everybody was sleeping, I did it on the Sundays and did my YouTube videos, right? So one of my biggest followers on YouTube were actually a big fan of, my biggest fan was then my work for me. So it was really cute. And it was building. And I went on my free day, on my holidays, I went for 4 days to the Hamburg Media School and was sitting there and said like, oh my God, offline was yesterday, online is the next word. So I took somebody from the SEO world and I paid him once per month because more I couldn't. And he really teach me. He teach me coding. He teach me back-end things. He's like, Liv, look at their H1, H2, H3, look at the alt text with the captions. Yeah. So suddenly it's like, stop giving it to other ones. Do it by yourself. You can it in between. So I started Instagram. I started TikTok. I did the captions. Right now, I'm doing all my LinkedIn posts, all my Instagram, all my emails. We're coming to clinic in this 1 hour traveling or commute. I have then 40 patients. I then go home. I work on the rest of the stuff. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have from 10 till late 9 p.m. patients. On Tuesday and Friday, I have my other teams. And on Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing all my office work. So is it healthy as life-work balance? Yeah, because my hobby is sleep. I love sleep, and I'm very good at it, right? Nowadays, if my stress level higher, because more and more comes, it's hard, right? To calm down. My sports is leaking, so this is my weakness.
You touched now on many things, right? Like I appreciate that you say you want to have an impact and you have a mission, because we are so aligned. Like I always draw the parallels, what you are saying with skin longevity and skin health to finance. And there is no quick fix. There is especially no magic pill, a formula. So what we're trying to do, and please tell me if I'm putting wrong words here in our mouth, but like we're trying to educate, to empower, sitting in the driver's seat and being able to decide what's right and wrong for me, and not based on what someone else is trying to sell me, so I can make an informed decision.
Absolutely, totally right.
And you are working since decades, day and night, basically for this. I think I'm too, if that's healthy, we can discuss on another time. But basically what I want to promote is, and I love that you're so transparent about that, it will not come, success will not come overnight. You have to work hard for it, and you have to find a bit your own balance of what is healthy for you, right?
And you have to be committed. I mean, and you have to have, in German you say Leidenschaft, so passion, right?
Yes.
So if you're not passionate about it, don't even start. And this was interesting. I mean, I had a very long time, really, no money, nothing, to kind of really had a low budget. I always have to kind of look how it is. And then I saw all the other ones, like Instagram, or even younger girls running around with this huge Louis Vuitton bags. Like, damn it, like the MS bags. Like, damn it, how they do this, right? I do something wrong with me. This can't be. I'm working like hell and can't. It's like. And then I had also the point where it's like I spent money on stuff. And my husband said, okay, but you own it, so buy it yourself. So I even had problems buying me a watch and showing the watch, because like, oh, what people will think. But the funny thing is, I had one VIP patient, I have to tell the story, and travel coming in. We closed the office for him. We have these because I have all over patients. Unfortunately, can't talk about them. It would be funny stories, or about all of them. But he came, and he always discussed with me also prices. This was a very interesting way, because I mean, money was not an issue, right? This was like, he flies private. We arranged our stuff. We closed the almost, and there's like, we did some things like, oh, give me a good price. And in this moment, I feel like undervalued. It's like, how we can discuss with me prices. I do all my best. We kind of set it up before. How come? And I really had to train myself not to kind of go in the back and cry and it's like, oh no, my value is not. I really went like, okay, really, you fly from A to B equals the same flight. So if you come to me, I'm dedicated to you. I do the same for all my patients. If you are, let's say, if you're flying first, you're doing the same service, you fly from A to B. But yeah, you don't have to book by yourself, you do it with me, you do it private messaging, my assistants organize everything, you get food. I was like, look, do you hear somebody? No, nobody's coming in. And not just for my time, because I really try for each of my patients that they don't see each other, they really have in privacy. But he really was a half a day kind of, look, you had also food with us, right? We were there, we did all the stuff. It's quiet, nobody's here. And how you booked? You booked like this way. So obviously you're flying first here, right? So you pay first, right? Otherwise, please make your appointment online, like all my patients by itself, right? So
there was first a shock,
kind of like shock, and then I really had to explain. Look,
Yeah.
this is a value I have,
Yeah.
and and price discussion is really sometimes a lot. We say you have to figure out, no, this is not. And for this, I'm not coming. Under this, I'm not doing my talk. Under this, I'm not doing my things. Because it is a value. I really had a lot of time to kind of did all my knowledge for this, and this is my price. Right?
Two questions I would have for you based on this example. First of all, do you think you work now differently than you worked in your 20s? Because you're still working long hours.
I'm much more efficient because we are very good in AI. So we're kind of, we have agents, we're really working very efficient, and now I must say you don't have to have so many employees, right? You can do projects, you can get the best on the board, and you can do a lot with agents. Right now there's a lot of stuff you can really be more efficient without any extra help.
So outsource, but still outsourcing. But
yeah, or like I'm probably much more efficient than I was. I'm much more. The problem, I think, if you're younger, you see one part and you deep dive and you get lost. Like this I see with my students, this I see with a lot of people. They really get lost. And my role got different because I can go with deep dive, right? So let's say in my team we have supply chain. Then we have, let's say, Instagram marketing or even be like a different B2B kind of case or something. So each of them go deep dive, and my role is to jump on the top, right? And oversee. Go a little bit helicopter and see, but on the deep dive, if I want, see where the real problems is, or if they're kind of lying to me, right? And then see the whole thing. So I have to know what's now. I have to have the midterm, and I have to a long-term view. So I have to have enough in planning. My pipelines to know where I come. And if people say, wow, this is a huge dream. No, dream is something I'm doing but not executing, right? So I want to have my big goal. So I know where the ultimate goal. So if you are, I also would love to have like a television show. We're wonderful. But it's... yeah, might be an interesting part, but for now it's kind of executing this. And if I really want this, I do it. So write with a book. I always wanted to write a book, but I always really think I need a book because I'm sick and tired to talk on an everyday base the same. Right? It sounds, but it's like in every job, right? You're repeating because for the other person it's kind of new, right? So then it's like, no, look, you have to be independent from me. So this is why I wrote the books. Like, look, you don't need to come to me. Read the book. And then if you want to have a level, go for this. You will see maybe not as pushy and quick results as you with a real trainer, but you will see very good results by your own. And for, let's say, 80% of people, this is more than enough, right? So, and it was also, I was talking about the book, but I never expect. I see people publishing books, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, damn it, I also wanted to write a book. So you're starting to excuse. Finally, one of my team members said, like, and we're really small teams, like, look, if you're talking about this book, that F point book all the time, now do it. And then I said, like, should I go with a publisher or should I do it by myself? There was a huge discussion. Like, people say, forget it. The kind of publisher is out. You have to do it by yourself. Others say, no, if you're not going with a publisher, you are out. And then we said, no, till we go to publisher, till they come up, it will go ages. We do it by ourselves. So finally, then we really did the whole book on ourselves with like, even we did everything. So, and then I went to the retailers. So book industry is a different kind of practice. So it was for me another industry part where I just jumped in and I really figured out how bookmark works, right? Where are the different chains, where are the things? And honestly, it was such a huge thing. So like, no, it's okay for Switzerland, but if you're doing it for all other countries, you can build up a new company, right? So it's like, no. And this is why we're now going with the Ulstein Verlag. For Germany, which again that published for German and the other countries, because this is something what I literally outsourced.
So how I would summarize it is you started to nerd yourself a bit into certain topics.
You have to kind of know each topics. This is why you really have to be as good that you can talk, that you know the terms and you know the kind of process.
That you can talk like a bit eye to eye level with the experts, at least knowing which questions, which challenges to give them. It's the same thing that I tell about like the financial advisor. So it's a bit of upskilling first and then deciding, because later on, if you lead your own company, right, it's like, okay, now I have the strategic view and I decide who I need with which skill set in order to place them there, not to micromanage, but to know that they can work optimally, right? So you would say more efficient, more time saving, outsourcing.
And the broader view and having like different kind of like time frames.
In the end, it's the CEO work, right?
Yeah, exactly. But of course, right now I also kind of having the job as a physician purely, and the other one is challenging because
you have so many different hats.
This is why I do it time-wise. So I do heavy days as a physician. You used to work long hours. So everything below 24 hours is kindergarten, right? And then the other ones. And I must say, if I'm in this part, I love it, but I'm missing the other. If I'm the other, I'm missing the other.
So it's physician?
Yeah.
Which hat?
Which hat? Author, obviously.
Author.
I love social media. I love to educate, but this is right now leaking a little bit. Because,
influencer?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it influencer. But I like to educate about LinkedIn.
You also teach?
Teaching, I love. So I try to expand teaching a little bit. So I'm on the Charité and talking about skin ingredients and longevity and AI and healthcare. Right now, I probably will take another teaching part in another country, which is lovely because it's a different approach. You see the youngers, and you feel like, oh my God, they're like me, and they probably know everything. And then you feel like, no, they are lost right now. You have to show them a little bit this direction that they can maybe go. And it's true. I remember some as my biggest mentor, right? These sentences, certain sentences kept in your head, sticking like what. And for me, this is what I give to my students as well. What your brain doesn't know, your eyes don't see. So get the knowledge, right? Knowledge is power.
I like that.
And in finance, it's the same probably, because honestly, the first time for financing, I think this was, I really always thought about Bitcoins, but I was super afraid of trading or buying, right? Why? Because for me, it was like getting something, an online trade or online things like, like Swiss quote or something, put it something. I was afraid doing this because, oh my God, outside the bank, where my money is getting, right? Panic. But then talking to the banker, paying this fee, he always tried to sell you. And a friend told me, look, the banker is just selling you what he needs to sell. And if he would be fantastic, he would not even work there anymore because he would be an entrepreneur by itself, right? He would do something else. But I was like, yeah, but he knows so much more about this. Not because I was afraid, and fear happens to make you stuck and not move, right? And I think this is the biggest part. If you don't know, you don't do. And when is the purpose
I
to
like
do?
that one. Yeah. If you don't know, you don't do.
Yeah, because I always say fear is based on unknowledge, right?
True.
So, because as more as knowledge you have, as more respect you have, but you don't should fear. So same as with medicine, same as well. So we always have to, as we're physicians, we are not afraid doing certain things. We are super, super kind of respectful because we know what everything can go wrong.
Yeah.
But we have the knowledge to deal with this. So we place fear with knowledge and get respect.
I like
right?
that.
And I think this is for everything you do. If I admire some person right now, the person is on 500K of Instagram. It's like, holy shit, why I'm not there? It's like, yeah, because I didn't have the time to be, I didn't have a team, I did it on myself. So no, I can't do it all, right? So no, I hopefully will do a little bit more. So yes, but I had different other things, which you by yourself don't see, but as you said, the perspective, it's always green on the other side, right? It's Instagram, it's always beautiful. Look, we all know, we do 15 photos and we choose one and we are still not happy with the one. So why should, if everybody does the same, I have a lot of actors as patients from all over the world, and other patients are asking me, yeah, what are the others doing? It's like, look, the same. They just have a different kind of job. Their job is looking good, spending a lot of hours in front of the mirror, where I'm like this instead of this, because you should have more kind of self-awareness of how you deal, how you do. It is your full-time job. You know how to sit. You know,
and they have teams that take care of the beauty.
Yes, because you have the time to do this. I'm doing a lot with my hands. Probably one of my team members or whoever, if I do my full-time job, if I would be a CNN reporter, they would say, cut, right? Stop talking like this. So again, they have a different job, but they have the same intervention. They're doing the same things, maybe more intense, but the same way, right? They just have a different job.
You mentioned finance. Was there any money mistake while you were building your company, while you were building your personal wealth that you would share with us so we can learn from maybe not making that mistake?
I'm very crazy on budget. So for me, it's like, and this I think is a different, if I see female entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs, right? Male entrepreneurs raise money and do that, right? It's not their money. They go, they show, they put, right? Well, I have the biggest, I have the longest. So women, women would never do this, right? Women would say, well, but I didn't raise 30 million yet, right? I didn't raise 500 million. I'm not there, so I'm not even mentioned. Or male will spend, and this is my point, overspending, right? In finance, and this is in business. It's different than private. Private, and this is with women and men differently. So, but in business, because not their own, they love to spend, and a lot of companies they have to re-raise, right? And they're getting crazy, and there are a lot of companies. Female companies are very on budget. So if I look on me, I'm very on budget. I'm really a budget crazy person. So if you don't tell me why you need, and I'm re-renting, it's like, no, cut, right? Why should I do this, right? It's like my money. Why should I spend it? And because it was very long time my money, if somebody is investing in my company, so it's in me, in my belief, in my numbers, in my things, it's the company is mine. So whoever is working with me should be on the same pace, and showing that we are a team and we want to kind of scale it. And this means also budgeting. And if it comes to private, so for me, because I was raised with always no money, and it was always very tight, so for me it was clear. So there is nothing. If there's nothing, nothing. And there was a lot of times where it's like, oh, so, but do it. It's like, no, I don't have the money. Yeah, come, but then maybe do the others. Like, no, there is no money. If I say I can't take the cap, it's not. And there was a time in Manhattan where we literally, I remember I was a group and they were most male, and they're saying, oh, Liv, take a cab. But I know, I like to walk. Of course, I had no money for a cab, so I walked, right? 10 years later, with the same group, it's like, oh, Liv, I have to work. It's like, no, I don't like to work. I don't have the time for money for the cab. So I started finance. So if it comes to personal wealth, so I think I invest in my company. So this is my biggest investment. So everything what I earned is in my company. So it's my little baby, right? I have, if you want, like 3 companies. So the supplement skincare company, my clinic, and then also now the AI company where I'm coming with a kind of patient-centric and kind of also lifestyle guidance. It's one cosmos, because it's not just skin, and it's more than skin. It's about, this is why I love the word longevity. It's not forever young. It's about whole ecosystem. It's about sleep. It's about food. It's about kind of exercise. It's about everything, and it's visible on the skin. So skin is a nice entry point, which comes more, right? All the trackers and everything is also part in the whole kind of system. And private is like, if you have everything spent there, you don't spend on certain things. But there was a time where I was so looking at the people with these typical, let's say, big brand stuff, right? And I was like, I want it, right? So then it was a time where I really spent money on buying me earrings, branded, everything else, because I really want to have it. Yeah. And then I realized, damn it, I mean, you paying a lot of money to make advertising for them. That's cool. That's interesting, right? But still, it gives you a good feeling. This is what literally luxuries do with you, right? They let you feel good, right? And it's okay to do this. But there was a point where I'm a shoe addict, and I love dresses, and I can't throw away. So literally, if my husband showed me Liv, but but they were all in sale. They were all curves. Like, but like, did you calculate how many dresses do you have and how many shoes? And I said, wow, okay, this could be a really cool investment in
funding
something
for
else,
your company.
No, because I spend much more on my company than on my clothes. No, but just still having. But on the other part, it's also okay to have this, because I like diversification. So if I were putting money on luxury goods is just the extra. If you don't have the extra, don't spend it on luxury goods. It's a luxury, right? I would never ever pay $400 for something I have to collect. I would never do this. So for me right now, my strategy is like this. For me, if I invest, and it doesn't matter, as you mentioned, we had this fantastic kind of keynote speech or this kind of panel discussions. You have budgets, and budget is very important. So you have your budget, let's say in private, for your fun stuff. For, of course, it's for whatever your living is first, health insurance, everything, it has to be secured. Without this, you don't even have to think about something else. But then you have your core, right? This is like an onion. I always say it's an onion. It's like health. You have to be healthy, then you can do more, right? If you're not healthy, forget it. It's mush. Right? Same as with investment. So you have to have budget, and this is why you're working, to kind of secure your kind of breathing. You know where you're living, you live good, you kind of feel good where you're living. This is the most part. Traveling is just add-on. You have to be where you live. It has to be correct for you. If you don't feel good, you will never kind of be happy and perform. Then the other thing is, okay, invest on yourself, like teaching classes, stuff. I always cut on holidays. I always kind of did courses. I paid for courses. I paid guys to teach me, right? I'm even now learning Mandarin. So I do it once per week. I do a Mandarin lesson, right?
Wow.
In between online course, right? And I meet her once in a while. So you have to invest in yourself, in your brain. And then investment in I'm starting then a little part. And as you mentioned, it doesn't matter. It could be like 40 francs up to 4,000, whatever you can afford, of whatever it is. Put it aside and put it into either kind of crypto things or in this kind of space, or doing in a kind of mini stocks, penny stocks, or even put it in the kind of different, not bonds, but maybe even how you say, in Aktien, so all of this. And if you fail, it has to be money you don't care. So if it's gone, it's like going out with friends and spending money on food and drinks. It's out. This is where you drink, you have it in your body, and then you have to do exercise to get out of it. So you pay twice, right? So you have to kind of go on this path as well. So for me, it's like if I invested, and for me was the starting investment, instead of buying myself a new pair of shoes, I put this money and put it into the stock. Right?
And did you always think about investing? Like, were you influenced by your parents? Did
I
they
love
take
my
you
parents a lot. They invested in me. They're the best person because they gave me so much love. I never felt unloved. Even we didn't have the money, I never felt this, right? I always had to argue. If I always wanted to have the Chucks or the Levi's or however brand was back then and interesting. And they told me, Liv, not a problem. We will buy you. Of course, they probably wouldn't have the money, but they probably will. They made everything happen if I really wanted. Okay, you really want it. Why you want it? Why is this jeans better than the other where the stupid red flag is on it? What's the difference? Do they people value more? No. Do you have more friends because of this? Wow. No. If you fall, they protect you better? No. So why you want to have this jeans? Okay, so I don't think we need these Levi's jeans or these blah, blah, blah jeans or the whatever brand you're using it, right? So, and this was everything. So in the end, I went there, I was like, okay, if I don't learn to argue well, I'm out. So knowledge is key. So I really, my parents are really, as much as I love them, but for investing, it's like the book, Poor Dad, Rich Dad is so true, right? If you have people showing you how to look on investments, you feel not anxious. And now the fear comes back into account, right? Knowledge starts with, fear is no knowledge. And if you don't have the knowledge and the surrounding is not teaching you, you don't know. Right? No. So investing, it really happened, I would say, the last couple of years, right? It's just like, and slowly, just little things and kind of accumulating. And right now, I would say, it makes sense. And of course, I'm not a short-term investment, I do long-term, right? And it's,
most of my
even it's just $100 or even 50, right? Instead of going there, I put it there.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Do I love my shoes? Yeah. Do I also kind of spend on shoes? Of course I do. Right.
And you should enjoy also your money, right?
No,
you're working hard for it.
It's kind of diverse. So it's kind of like you have to have your buckets and you have to really know what you're doing. And if people overspending, it's like, this is not good. Why are you overspending? Yeah. What you do, and particular women, what you do if you're older.
So right? You talk about money with your girlfriends? And
and even, let's say you have different business strategies as a woman, right? Let's say you love to be a mom and you don't want to work, really want to be for your kids there, which is a choice and which is also an absolutely good choice. My mom was in the beginning a full-time mom, right? And it's also fine to do this, but if you don't work and your other part, doesn't matter if if it's a man or if you choose to not be a man, if your partner, let's put partner, is working instead, you did together the decision, right? So you raise the child and you, in the end, who's at home, who's also a cleaning lady, a kind of a servant and everything else for the other part who does the job, because the other comes home and has a nice home, feels good. This is a teamwork. So, and then, which a lot of marriages works like this. It's the old proper women at home, men working. And then why she does not has to be compensated for this, right? So if people say, yeah, but she got so many money out of me, it's like, Yeah, but you could just grow because she did the job for you, right? You would not be able to do this. So why it's not fair? But on the other hand side, it's always a giving and taking, right? And if something, so the system is kind of a fair in this way, right? And both way, and hiding money from somebody is never good, and taking too money from the other one is also not good. So both parts have to talk about it. But it is a clear team and it has to be fair, right? And if you choose to be in the business world, yeah, well, then it's then you do what you earn. You know how to earn it, and you know how to you should know how to spend it as well.
Exactly. Like I love when women are working hard for their money and they love to spend it, also enjoy it. But then it's like you say, right? There should always be some parts going to the investing part.
Because the problem is really if your construct is you home and your husband works, right? Now,
but even if you're not married, right? Like it's completely independent. Like,
but the problem is if you work and you work above 60%, right? You get a pension. If you never worked or you stopped working with a kid, you never paid in the BVG, right? You never paid in certain things. So what happened if this guy is leaving you? You are alone. You don't have money, and this is a problem right now with women getting in their retirement, where the kids are out and there's no money. They were used to spend money on all luxury goods, and they're going exactly the way normally you want to go, like hockey stick. They're going the other way around, right? And then I always ask, and for me it was clear, do I want to have fun in the beginning and kind of an easy life because there's no shortcut, and later on a lot? Or you want to have a lot of fun and later on, well, the other opposite. So
first consume the money instead of first making the money.
Correctly, right? So first you have to invest. This is like you have to invest to let something out. You have to build the car in order to drive it. Or you have to kind of get the money which you built to buy it. But still, it's something you have to build first before you can ride it.
Yeah.
It's like a small dog. You have to kind of teach them how to do. Even with kids, you have to show how they walk in order to let them walk alone.
Mm-hmm. I love also how you're always looking into certain industries and then trying to disrupt them and create like your own way of doing things. And now you said you are building an AI company. So you're again at the brink of technology. You're trying to include that in your business. Can you tell us more about the concept of being prepared for the future, not being stuck?
So every person now who thinks that AI will be not a part of your everyday life and says, oh, I'm kind of neglecting it, I would say is wrong. If people say, oh, I don't need this, it's wrong. It's not about that, it's the way of how it's now, but it's developing exponential. So you can make your workflow better, you can more data, where you can kind of be more efficient, you can do everything. And getting it, it's fear, right? You have no clue. And technical things are particularly for women. More women are more into it because they overcome their fear. But a lot of saying, oh, it's not mine, physics were not mine, math was not mine. This is
finance is not mine.
Yeah, it's just in the head. Why should not? If you just depend on somebody. I hate dependency, right? In everything. I had dependency on people. I had dependency on certain kind of agents. I don't like it. So if you don't go with me, why should I go with you, right? So you have to use the tools in order to be prepared and go further.
How are you using it in your new company?
So I always maybe say it like this way. I can't clone myself. I'm coming from the genetic part, so I will not be able, maybe future, but I don't want to. So I can't clone myself as a person, but I can use a digital twin, right, to help people to not see me. So therefore what I do, and this is what I created already in the beginning, what I do in my office as a heavy trainer, a skin trainer with maybe also prescription ones, I mirrored to one-to-many. Same with the level system, similar things. So you can do it also with a book. You don't need to listen to me, right? And the next step is I remind my patients, today, you went to a pollution-rich city, so you have to use your antioxidants. Today is Monday, today is retinol day. So
you want to be like there for us as your patients
correctly, because
all the time.
All my patients say, what, Dr. Liv? Dr. Liv would now say, I'm now in the sun. I should use the shadow. So, and then what happened is like, Good girl, you did a good job.
I'm already trying to influence my network about, did you use
Sunscreen?
sunscreen?
Yes.
And then they're like, I forgot. I have to include it in my routine. I'm like, I have something for you.
Exactly. And then my biggest now what I'm working on is habit changes. So far, that's so right. I'm raising for this company, so this is kind of my new project.
Wow, I love it. So you will be there for us day and night in the future.
Day
I love
and
it.
night.
Liv, one last question. If you would be able to go back to your 25-year-old self and you just stopped the modeling career and you started medical school, what is the one thing you wish you would have known about building wealth, building a business, that you would tell yourself?
I probably back then, instead of having my Sparbuch, whatever it means in English, so it's this little red book from the Sparkasse I had,
Savings
and
account,
putting like my 10 bucks always there on my Sparschweinchen. I literally had a Sparschweinchen. You know this hippopotamus from, I think, which company?
Yeah, it's a big piggy bank.
Not a piggy bank. Back then it was like a Nilpferd, right? So from a certain kind of hippo,
okay.
right? And I was always putting it in. And it was sometimes a bank because somebody lent the pays it, I get it back. I never put actually extra charge on it. I should have done this. But anyhow, instead of doing this, I wish I would have the courage. But then back then was not as easy as now, right? So it's not kind of, you could not, with no money, going and buying
open a brokerage account.
This was way too complicated.
Right.
They wouldn't even look at you and say, oh, sweetie, yeah. So if you had the possibilities of your parents who did this for you, there would be no way. But maybe going then later on, there were more possibilities. So right now you have possibilities, quick access, quick things. So now it is a possibility. So back then I would say for me, it's also hard what to teach because in the end, I always tell everybody, it's like a football game. If the Schiedsrichter, the how you say in English,
I don't even know.
the guy who says game over,
guy or woman,
whoever who kind of whistle the blow the whistle and said game is over, you can't discuss. The game is over, right? You could hack, you could beat him, you could do everything. It's over. So why looking back? I think this is the worst thing people can do, looking back and thinking, what if?
Yes, and it's not about if, but it's about maybe we have 20, 30, 40-year-old people listening.
So what I would say that, because back then was more pragmatic. Now I would say if you're 20 and you're working parallel to your studies, parallel to things, you always have 5 or 10 francs extra. Instead of spending it on a mixed juice which costs 14 bucks, do your own juice with buy somewhere in the grocery store, do it by yourself, fill it in a nice bag and go out instead of buying it, and put this extra money, the difference between buying and making yourself and spending it, it's probably 5 francs or even 6 francs, and put it into a kind of brokerage account, right? Yes, you can start now super low budget. You could put in 6 francs and then you put it there, you put it extra and say, if I have 50, then I invest in this. But you can even buy now part of Aktien, part of stocks.
Fractional shares.
Yeah, possible. Do it, right? And it's but I need so you need a certain buffer where you say, this is my buffer if somebody happens, my dishwasher get broke, I need a new one, right? So you always have to have a buffer if something breaks, right? If you have a car, you have to have enough money to spend on the repair.
Of course.
So if you have your buffer, we're talking about onions, and you have a little spare time, and this spare you would just choose for things like a juice, a coffee, outside meeting and food, spend it on this.
So you would say start early, start small.
Yes.
Don't restrict yourself, but take what's left over or what you can substitute easily and start investing early.
And talk. The thing is, this is what men can do much better. They talk about, what was your investment, right? It's funny, I had a patient nobody talks about stocks. And it's you're right, actually. It's no, women talk about where they invest. They're always hiding. They never do something. But maybe they're not doing it, that's even worse. But why they're not saying, hey, I invest in art. Right? Oh, really? Tell me how you change. Or I invest in this.
How do you decide what
to
invest in?
How you decide?
Where do you store it?
Where you look for it? How you get your nose? What is your instinct? Or it's not an instinct. Maybe how are you looking on this kind of charts? Teach me, right? Or tell me how you do it. Then I teach myself. But it sounds funny. But I love TikTok for this. So I
mean,
love the TikTok
these new
videos.
platforms like TikTok and Instagram,
They're
they make
amazing.
it easier for us to have access to that kind of information. Right?
And you learn it. And it's like YouTube are sometimes too intense because you don't have the time. But TikTok, literally, the first time I actually invested in any kind of things, it was a TikTok recommendation, right? It's just like he showed me like no, but it was fun. No,
Okay.
he showed kind of he did the market gap. He discussed how the market gap. He really kind of made
yeah.
it really systematically. It was not a fun and
there are some analysts that use these charts.
putting it on a chart, showing you this company. That's like, oh, this is interesting. So I went then into this company, looked at this profile, looked at the ties, and said, okay. Let's do.
My dad is now he's now our equity expert, right? And he's like, when it's on social media, it's time to get out of it. So it's so funny. He says like when everyone talks about it, the curve is probably going down. But
even then you have to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
How you know where are the little things, and then you say, oh, I was too late. Okay, you will always too late if you not start.
Yeah.
Right. And this is, I think, my message for the end. It's like, it always will too late if you don't start.
I love that. That's the perfect way also to end this podcast. Thank you so much for your important messages. I wish you so much luck with your book, with your skincare, with your new AI company. And thanks also for, taking care of my skin health. It's improving slowly but steady.
Thank you so much for having. And I really admire your work, like talking about this so important topic, because health is a new wealth, but without wealth you can't really do something. True. Because you buy with money time, and with the time you buy it also for your own health to spend on it, right? Spending means spending time on you, spending kind of good time on you, and therefore you need the financial freedom to kind of have the head free of going further. Because if people say, oh, they don't do this, like, yeah, but if you're a father of 2 kids and you don't know how to kind of pay rent and kids kind of education, you have to do 2 jobs. Believe me, there's nothing far important than kind of looking what you eat, because you just buy cheap stuff and looking for different things. Right?
It's the basis.
He's not he doesn't have the time for exercising. He wants to do good for his kids. So therefore, money would give him, for example, more security. Instead of 2 jobs, 1 well-paid job, then he would have more time for himself and will be a good kind of role model for them. But this is what happens in the economy right now. This will be a big problem because the gap is becoming wide, and this is important that people take care about their security, financial security, and health.
We're on it. We're trying to raise awareness and educate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Liv. Really
as well.
Appreciate it.